Alright folks, and welcome back to Procreate. So in this lesson, we're actually going to make your own bokeh brush. Now, we gave you a bokeh brush that was in a previous lesson from 7th season, but what we're looking to do now as part of this course is teach you how to make your very first brush. So, let's go ahead and Procreate, and let's go ahead and just bring up any old Untitled artwork. Doesn't really matter. Alright, so we're just going to start with the square canvas. And now, when you go to brushes, you know how to create a new category, but let's do one for yourselves. Let's go and create a new category. To do that, you swipe down, and let's call it Brushes I Made. All right? Nope, now I gotta undo the untitled set. Brushes I Made. All right, cool. Now, let's go ahead and add a brush to that. Let's call this the bokeh brush. Now this is where you get all those soft circular lights, right? So we're going to show you how to make the brush in order to do the project. Now, what we know to be true here, all brushes have a shape and a grain. So the very first thing you want to do is pick a shape source. So to do that, let's go to Insert Photo. Now, to pick a shape source, you could create a custom photo. I'm going to show you how to do that later. But we're going to go ahead and use the library. So let's go here and pick one from the library. All right, so we're going to want to make kind of a round brush, right? Because these bokeh lights are very, very soft. So let's grab one that I'm going to say is a medium. All right, so there's my shape source. And remember, black conceals, white reveals. Now we need to select a grain. So we're going to go to the Pro Library. And we're going to pick kind of just a regular old grain. I'm going to go with one that kind of looks like, I don't know, blank. Let's go blank. All right. So this creates an untitled brush. Now we're going to come up here. We're going to call it the bokeh brush again. I don't know why that didn't hold, but it didn't. Okay. Now, when we click the bokeh brush, take a look at the source. You've got your source and your grain. We're good to go. Now what I'm going to have you do is we're going to come over to the stroke properties, and we're going to crank up the stroke spacing until we're right about here. And now, what did we cover in an earlier lesson? You remember we did some things with adjustment? Let's go ahead and turn up the jitter. So jitter is going to begin spreading these things out. This is really what's going to give you that nice effect. So we turn up the spacing, we turn up the jitter. We do not want to adjust the streamline or the fall off. That's not what we want. And we certainly don't want a tapered stroke. Now, we're going to want to turn opacity all the way up and size all the way up. And now let's go to shape. Now, this is key. Let's go here to shape, and we put down the shape. We're going to scatter it. We go to grain. Grain isn't going to matter because it's just white. Dynamics. This is an interesting one. You can change the speed to adjust the opacity and the jitter to also adjust the opacity. Now you see what happened to my preview? You can also adjust speed and jitter for size. Now pencil, we don't have to really mess with any of the pencils. And now size limits, we can go as big as we want. Now I wouldn't make it too large, right? You don't want to put one on the page and have it just blow out. Okay, opacity limits, it goes all the way from high opacity to low, and size from about halfway to nothing. Now, source is good. Let's give this a shot. So we're going to do a black background. We're going to bring in a black layer. Now what we're going to do is we're going to grab the bokeh brush that we used. All right, I'm going to turn it all the way up, and I'm going to create a very contrasting type of color. And we're going to begin touching it. Okay. Now, I'm moving my pen around the screen here. to get an idea of what we're doing. I want to make some adjustments. So I'm coming back over here. I'm going to stroke, and I'm going to put the spacing down similar to that. There we go. All right. Let's go ahead and clear that out. I made a mistake on that. I should have created a separate layer. My bad. All right, let's create a new layer. All right. Now, bring this in. And now, that's looking pretty good. But I don't like the heavy opaqueness of this. So we're going to come back into our bokeh brush. And we're going to drop down the opacity of it a little bit. And when we go to the General tab, you see that we've got the dynamics for opacity. We're going to bring it to 0. And in general, we're going to go to a maximum opacity of about 70%. All right, let's clear this out. And let's see what happens now with the behavior. All right, now that's a little bit even too much now. All right, let's raise the opacity limit up to about 80%. Clear it out. And folks, this is how you develop brushes. You try some stuff and you see what's working and what's not. Okay, so I think that I'm pretty good here. So now let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and clear the layer. And let's actually try it like we're actually going to use it. So putting down a couple of these lights. All right, now let's go ahead and change this up just slightly. Let's go ahead and make this a little bit greenish. Okay, now let's add in a little bit of yellow. I want it just a yellow tinge light. I don't want it to be overpowering. All right, so I think that's a pretty good bokeh brush. Congratulations, folks. You just made your first brush in Procreate. All right, in the next lesson, I'm going to show you how to export this so you can share it. All right, we'll see you in the next one.